Boom. All right, we just hit the button. I believe we're back live on YouTube, Facebook. We've been kicking it with our friends over here on Instagram. As you can see, the gram is popping right now. So we're answering questions from Instagram. I think if we got audio from Facebook and YouTube, we'll also answer questions from those channels as well. But let's get back to Instagram, and then on Facebook, if you got questions, type them in the box. Same thing with the YouTube. All right. So Keisha, I love it. What's the platform do you use to purchase or manage your trades? Ameritrade, Robinhood, etc. All right. So what we teach people, or the platform we use and trade on, is Charles Schwab, which we used to use Options Express, but Options Express was purchased by Charles Schwab. So now we use Charles Schwab as our trading platform. Now, we also like TD Ameritrade as a secondary or backup, but primarily we like Charles Schwab for our trading platform. And the reason is a lot of people use like the Robinhood app and different things like that. And I'll probably do a detailed review on the Robinhood app. The problem with like Robinhood and some of those other apps is most people are using those apps because it's like free commission. But if you're a true trader and you're handling real, you know, when I say big money, you're handling $10,000, $100,000 account or higher, or I guess that's a medium account to 100,000 or more. You need stuff like level 2 quotes. You need streaming quotes, streaming charts. You need candlestick charts. You need a little bit more historical data, the ability to do scans, stuff like that. And typically the Robinhood apps of the world, they don't have those tools. But to their point, they're catering to like the hobby investor or the person who just says, oh, I'm going to try this out and see, I'm going to see what's going on. I'm going to try this and see if it works. So they're not catering to like the avid investor or a person who's really moving money and actually cares about charts, cares about candlesticks, different things like that. And so, you know, that's the biggest difference between, you know, Robinhood or something like that, and then what we use like at Charles Schwab. All right. So I don't know how legit those apps are. They're legit. They just don't have like the best tools. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, if you're just joining us on the YouTube or Facebook, we're live chatting with Instagram, and then we're live on all the other platforms. Just having a stock market conversation midday during the lunch hour. I was just telling them that a bunch of the stocks that we looked at last week on Friday really popped Friday, and then they really continued to move Monday. And then today we're getting some traction on a bunch of the other stocks that were in, like for example, Facebook. We were in today. Right now it's up. I'm looking at the screen, $5. I mean, nice pop. And then some of the other ones that I won't mention because you're not inside the university. But no, I'm just joking. But we got a couple other stocks that are moving and looking really nice today. So we're just on live answering your questions, talking about the stock market. So feel free to put your questions if you're on Facebook, YouTube. You know, do you trade? If you don't, why don't you? Or what questions do you have in general about the overall stock market? Instagram is dominating with the questions though, so I love it. We got, is it pound for pound, pound for pound? All right, pound for pound said, what do you think about Ameritrade? So we like TD Ameritrade. Specifically, we like their Think or Swim platform. If you're going to be practicing on, it's a good platform to practice on. We'll probably come out with a tutorial for that. But for specifically trading, reading the option chains, we find that the Charles Schwab Street Smart Central platform is, I don't want to say it's the best, it's what we like, and there's some reasons for that, but I love the Charles Schwab Street Smart Central platform. So, but I like TD Ameritrade, and then depending on what country you're in, you might not be able to get certain platforms. All right, so depending on what country you're in, you might have to use whatever's in that country. So our Canadian people are using TD Waterhouse, which is the Canadian subsidiary of TD Ameritrade. We got people outside of the country that trade on our platform, or at least learn from our platform, and they use interactive brokers, which I think they have like a $10,000 minimum, but it allows you to be outside of the country and trade, or live outside of the country and trade in the U.S. market, or in any market for that matter. So it just depends on what your needs are. So let me just check. Let me see. Let me just check Facebook and YouTube Live. Instagram has the majority of the questions. So we'll stick with the gram. We'll stick with the gram. All right. Mama, is it Momac Better? Which platform do I use for scanning, and do you have an algorithm you use to find the stocks? You could do scans inside of Charles Schwab. You could do scans. I think like, I believe it's FinViz. There's a few different ones that'll allow you to do scans. I use Trade Navigator, so I use a premium software, and then I also write my own scans. So some of the scans are custom to me. Some scans work for a period of time. Then when the market changes, I'll write a new scan to kind of see how it's adjusting to the market. Sometimes the scans are based on volume. I write scans based on candlesticks. So I'll be like, if this stock opens up but sells off by the end of the day, and that happened yesterday, pull it up in my scan. So what happens is, if I'm looking for bearish stocks, I'll run that scan today and look for stocks yesterday that gapped up and then sold off. It's called a bearish engulfing candlestick. And so that might tell me that that stock is getting ready to reverse or go down. I got a scan based on moving averages that says, let me know if a stock crosses the 10, 20, or 50-day moving average. So it just depends on what it's going to tell me. And typically you need premium software for that. What about Merrill Edge? I don't use Merrill Edge. Food behind the scenes, I don't use Merrill Edge. I don't have a lot to say about them, but if I like Street Smart Central the best, you know, and then second best, TD Ameritrade. We got some Facebook comments coming in. Looking to get started. Where should I get started? Airedale, is that how you say your name? Airedale Robinson. I think first place I would get started is I would register for like one of my free webinars or something like that. So you can go to thebrownreport.com. There's a free webinar on how to trade stocks. There's a free webinar on how to trade options. I would first get some free information. If you're past the free information, obviously we got courses in our coaching and mentorship program. But I always say start with the free information because, you know, you might not even like how I teach, you know. So going through the free stuff gives you an opportunity to say, do I resonate with this guy? Do I like how he teach, or do I not? You know, I'm not for everybody. So I would say check out the free stuff. We got a bunch of free videos on YouTube at The Brown Report. In fact, I'll pop my YouTube channel up here right there. So I'll show that. Boom. That's what Instagram people can't see that, but that's what it looks like if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. So go check out the YouTube channel. There's a lot of free content that I post there. How much money do I need to get started? How to open your first trading account? My review of the best platforms to use. So that's a good place to get started. All right, let me see. On YouTube, we got Robert. He says, I've traded with options. Let me see what you're talking about, Robert. I've traded with options a couple of years ago with TD Ameritrade, but stopped because of losses. Is your options trading based on buying, selling puts, calls with stops, or strategies like butterflies, iron condor, strangles? All right, so he's asking about what strategies we teach. So there's one course called Options Explained, which just talks about calls, put options. If you own the stock, selling options against it, I call it my rental income strategy. It breaks down 9 to 12 different strategies, but the most important thing is knowing when to use the strategies. So we talked about this last night. We talked about this last night in our group coaching session. When you're trading options, options expire. So options have a finite time frame, which means it's going to expire in 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 120 days, depends on how much time you buy on your option. So when we're going through our sessions on Monday and looking for trades, the thing about options is we only want to trade options on things that are moving right now. Like we believe it's either moving right now, or we believe it's going to move tomorrow or this week or in the next 2 weeks. Because the longer you hold it and it's not moving, you're losing time with your option. So if we're going to just trade straight calls and puts, you have to be good at reading the chart and determining when you believe momentum is coming back into the stock based on volume, based on the chart, and maybe a couple technical indicators. Now, the other side is advanced options, where we do teach spreads, iron condors, butterflies, stuff like this. But those, in my experience with the market, those are things that you don't use every day per se. So like, you might use a strangle or straddle or something like that only during earnings season, where stock is going to pop up or pop down real big, or if a company's getting sued, something where some news is getting ready to come out and you're expecting a big move up or down, but you don't know which direction it is. So is part of the game is learning the strategy, but the other part of the game is learning when to use the strategy. Because I see people have the strategy but use it at the wrong time, and so yes, you end up losing money. So I hope that answers your question, Robert, on YouTube. It's more about what strategy is correct for the current market we're in, and then when the market change or the circumstance or situation change with that stock, how should your strategy change and what should you do then? Otherwise, I see people buy call options on the downtrend in stock. It's like, great strategy, wrong stock, wrong chart, wrong time to use it. I've seen people buy put options on a bullish chart. So it's like, great strategy, wrong time, wrong chart to use it. And so it's kind of like building a house, right? It's like, is a hammer a good tool? Great if you're like framing and putting up plywood and framing a house. But when it comes to an electrician or a plumber, a hammer is a horrible tool, right? They need a screwdriver. They need a couple other different things. And so it's about having the right tool, but using it at the right time. And that's where I think most people fall short with their trading, because they got the tools, but maybe they don't know the right time to use them, or they got the right time, but they got the wrong strategy. So, I mean, you need both. You know what I'm saying? So, let me go back to Instagram. Let me see. What's a good amount to set aside for trading? So I started with about $500. So you can start with any amount. I think the optimal situation, if you can come in with like $2,000 to $5,000, if you're just like a regular working average person, you know, take your tax returns, $2,000 to $5,000 is a good starting point. But I think more important than starting with real money, you should be practicing with fake money. So you should be practicing first to make sure you understand the strategy, because the worst thing you could do is come in with your $2,000 tax return or $5,000 and be like, okay, I'm ready to trade. And you've never placed a trade before. You've never practiced reading a chart. You've never, tested to make sure you understood the theory of how it all works. And the last place you want to figure out that you didn't know how it works is with real money in the trade. And now you're like, I don't even know what I'm doing. So $2,000 to $5,000 is a good place to start. But even before that, you should get started by practicing with fake money to make sure you actually understand, what that means. So I forgot who asked. I think it was Keisha. I think Keisha asked that on Instagram. All right. So yes, paper trade first. So let me know if that comment helped. Switch back to YouTube. And then let me check Facebook real quick. We're just bouncing between platforms. Trevon Sherwood. This guy's training made me an extra $60K last year. Man, we need to get you on the testimonial line. If we help make you an extra 60 grand, that's good to hear. Let me switch back to YouTube. We got Robert Smith says, what is the average time of duration for calls or puts when you see a stock on the move up or down? So we typically buy call or put options that last about 60 to 90 days. Now, it doesn't mean we're going to hold it for 60 to 90 days, but we teach the students that we like to give ourselves double the time frame that we think it's going to take for the stock to move. So if you believe the stock is going to move in 30 days, you need to double that time frame. So you were going to be looking at a 60 or a 90-day option. So let me see. I got to put my phone on do not disturb here. All right, we're back on Instagram. So hopefully that helps. We like to double the time frame that it takes for a stock to move. So typically we're looking at 60 to 90-day options. on all of our trades. Doesn't mean we're going to hold it for 60 to 90, but you definitely want that time in case you need to. D Orgy Wordsmith YouTube says, how imminent would you say this impending crash is? Some guy saying 6 months to a year. So here's the thing. Nobody really knows if the stock market is going to crash. And more importantly, what I want you to worry about or focus on is not if the stock market is going to crash. What I want you guys thinking about is, do I have the strategies to make money on the downside if the market starts to sell off or quote unquote crash? And so, you know, I don't wake up and worry about, is the stock market crash? What I wake up and say is, do I have the strategies and the skills to make money even when stocks are falling? And that's where options come into place, whether that's buying put options, whether that's selling options against stock that you own. It's more about having the strategies no matter what the market throws at you. It's kind of like a person who gets a job and they feel like they don't have to learn anything else. They don't have to brush up on any skills. And then the moment they come in with a new robot or a new software, and that person becomes obsolete, it's like they weren't willing to brush up on their skills and keep the strategies and the knowledge to keep them relevant in the changing workplace or market environment. So I'm less worried about a stock market crash and more worried about, do I have the tools and the strategies to make money if the market crash? And I believe I do. So that's what I want you thinking about. All right, let me see on Facebook. We got Eric who said, options are, in my opinion, the most effective way to make money from the stock market without buying the stock. Absolutely. I mean, you can supercharge a small trading account by trading options. That's how I grew my account to multiple six figures, which was trading options. The profits we were making from the options, there's no way we would be able to make some of those profits. If you go back and look at some of my YouTube case studies or on our website, there's no way we would have been able to make those profits that quick without using options. But you could lose some money real quick too. I don't want to. I think I did one video called how I lost $33,000 and got a speeding ticket. You can find that video on YouTube. So you could lose some money as well trading options. But I agree. I think you definitely want to have options in your tool belt. Without having options in your tool belt, I say this on my webinars. I say, if you only know how to buy stock, for everybody again, if you only know how to buy stock, you only make money if the stock goes one way, which is where? If it goes up. Does the stock always go up? Absolutely not. And so why wouldn't you have the strategies to make money when it goes sideways or when it goes down? We know that the stock can move three different ways. It doesn't always go up. And so most people only know how to make money one way, if it goes up. And that's why majority of the people lose money. Because if you look at it from a probability and statistics standpoint, that means you have a 1 in 3 chance of making money if the only way you know how to make money if it goes up. That means you have a 33% chance of making money. But what about the other 67% of the time? So you definitely need options in your corner, and you need to understand when and why to use options. All right. Durgay, I hope I'm saying it right, says, I remember the loss and the speeding ticket video. Tough break. Let's switch over here to Instagram, see what's going on, what questions we got coming in here. How much money did the 60K trader start with? I don't know. He posted that on our Facebook live stream. I'm not sure how much he started with. But I could tell you, when I grew my one account to $20,000, I started with $10,000 in that account, and I grew it to, I think it was 120, something like that. So, and it took me about 1 year. I think it was like 1 year. So I was averaging like $10,000 a month, but that's not really how it worked. I made like 30,000. Then there was a couple months I didn't make nothing. I made 40,000. It might have been a couple months I didn't make nothing. I made another 30. It was something like that. And it also depends on how the market is when that person made their money. Some markets it's easier to make money in. There's also some markets where it's tougher to make money. You know, like when it's highly volatile. There've been trades where we make 10,000, lose 10,000, so we break even. Make 10,000, lose 10,000, so we break even. And we do that for like 3 months in a row. And it's like, you feel like you're not going anywhere, but that's just a market we were kind of given recently with all the volatility. Now things are starting to be a little bit more consistent with our trades. And it just depends. So But I don't know how much that guy started with. Keisha says on Instagram, I see, is there a practice or training environment with Charles Schwab? No. The practice or training environment, TD Ameritrade, they have something called paper money. So if you just Google TD Ameritrade, paper money, we'll probably do a video about it ourselves, but I'm sure there's, if you just go to TD Ameritrade, click Thinkorswim, and then click paper money, you can check out their practice or paper trading feature. The only thing is you might get in there and get overwhelmed because like the platform's kind of like, it's like a lot of stuff in there, but that's where you would practice at. Where can I find when institutional selling of a company or stock? There's software that you can purchase that'll tell you when institutions are, or big lots of trades are being sold, but there's no like free tools, not that I know of. And also sometimes institutions dump their lots over time and they do it in the after hours or pre-market, which is sometimes why you'll see big pre-market moves. So that doesn't mean you'll have the ability to get in before they do it or get out before they do it, because sometimes they do it in the after hours when the market is closed or before the market opens. So it's kind of, that's a tough game to play, but you know, there's software that can tell you like, oh, this institution unloaded this position, but by the time they told you about it, they've been unloading 100,000 shares each day. By the time they get the total, it's like they already unloaded the position. It's like, oh, they just unloaded 1 million shares. It's like, yeah, but they unloaded it over 10 days, 100,000 shares. So sometimes you end up late to the party. They don't just send a big order and like sell all 1 million, because they know that would freak people out and that people are trying to follow their moves. So most institutions don't do that. They're a little smarter than that. So it's a little harder to try to base a strategy off of that if that's what you're looking to do. So yeah, institutional money moves the market. I mean, they got big money, right? Just imagine if Fidelity decided we're moving all of our clients out of Facebook. You don't think that's going to take the stock now? Or what happens if I say, hey, we're taking Facebook out of the portfolio and we're putting Apple in there? Everybody that puts money into their 401k retirement account that Fidelity manages, now that they've inserted Apple into one of their funds, all of that money is going to go into buying Apple. So, and here's the thing, they're going to buy Apple whether it's up or down, because they have to invest people's retirement. So something like that could definitely move the stock up because they're buying it no matter what. So that's one way to kind of look at institutional money, or if a company like Fidelity or some big hedge fund is moving into a stock. How do I get started and learn more about trading? Swing on over to thebrownreport.com. Like I said, you can check out our free trainings there and register for one of my free webinars. And then I have a bunch of YouTube videos you can check out too. Kev posted our powertradesuniversity.com site. That's where if you want to join our membership or premium courses. What's the best platform to use for a beginner? I told you I like Charles Schwab. So all right, let me switch on over to my guys on YouTube. Shantae says, damn, I'm at work. I mean, I shouldn't have said that, but I know I tried to do this during the lunch hour, so we'll probably wrap this up here in a minute. But Durgy says, do you find the best time to make bearish money is 8 a.m. to 11ish Monday to Wednesday? Seems like that's when big moves happen. No, I don't really look at bearish moves like that. I typically like to make my trades between 3 and 4 o'clock, like at the end of the day, because something can be down in the morning, but by the end of the day, it could be back up. So I don't like to actually make trades in the morning. You ever woke up and the stock was down, I don't know, $3, and then by the end of the day, it was up $2. So if you would have went bearish in the morning, you kind of could have, you might have got caught as that thing ran back up. So, you know, when I'm looking for bearish money, I'm looking for stocks that are in a downtrend. I'm looking for increasing volume and sell off. So there's a kind of a platform and a combination of things I'm looking for. Let me check Facebook real quick. Mario Render says, for a novice who never traded before, do you have programs or software to help us to get started? And if so, how can we find this information? Yeah, you know, obviously I didn't jump on here to, I just came on here to chat with you guys. But since you're asking, yeah, head over to, there's 2 websites, thebrownreport.com. You can check out our free stuff there. I got a free webinar to teach you about stock market, free webinar to teach you about options trading. Maybe Angelo, if you're on, you can post the links. you can go to the brownreport.com. And then like if you want to look at our premium stuff, you can go to powertradesuniversity.com. I'm just trying to type it in here. You can check that out. So those are two ways that you can check out some of our stuff. Free or paid, depends on wherever you're at. We got hundreds of members inside of our paid program that we meet every week and go live and look for trades. And we got a private traders forum that all of our traders can chat in and all that stuff. All our programs, our cheat sheets, all of that's in there if you want to just kind of skip the line and go straight to the premium stuff. Let's see here. We'll take a few more questions and we'll wrap up because I know people are probably at work or got to get back from lunch. Lola said, is there a high frequency trading platform? Maybe, but I don't own one and I don't have enough money to move to New York and buy a terminal and pay for a high frequency trading platform. So I'm not really familiar with those. That's not how the majority of money is traded or spent. So I wouldn't spend a lot of time trying to chase high frequency trading platforms. Miss McCrae says, are you going to move on? I'm not even going to say the ticker symbol because we talked about that in our, I don't know. I'm going to look at the charts and I'll post it inside the group coaching forum and if I'm going to make a move on that today. Durgi says, thank you for extracting the fear and injecting the confidence into this game. Yeah, you're only fearful if you don't understand how it works or you don't understand the strategies. Once you get the strategies and understand how it works, it becomes a little less threatening to put capital to work in the stock market. Switch over here to Instagram. We got NY2Dart. Did Schwab get the software straight from last night? Oh, yeah, it looks like it's working now. I know yesterday we were having some issues with the Schwab platform, but it looks like it's back up and running and everything is back to normal. So as we get ready to wrap up, guys, I'll flash my Facebook so you can come follow us over there. And then if you're on YouTube, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell notification so you can get notified when we go live. Or, bam, if you're not following me on Instagram, where I do a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, you guys can check me out at Brown Report on Instagram. I do not have an image to put up here for you guys. I don't think I have an image. Let me see. But yeah, just at Brown Report, the at symbol Brown Report on Instagram. If you got any more questions, leave a comment below this video on Facebook, this video on Instagram, and then, or on YouTube. Instagram, this video will disappear in 24 hours, but you can always send me a direct message or check out the replay on the gram or on Facebook or on YouTube. So that's it, over and out. I got to get me a protein shake or something. And we'll keep these lives coming. We'll do breakfast lives, lunch lives. We'll keep these lives coming. So thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys later.